us. Step for everyone else. Alright, Flash. This be my shit. What is he? 22-4-1, if I'm correct, 15 KOs. His name is William Prado. According to BoxingScene.com, Nonito, the Filipino Flash Donaire, former multi-divisional unified champion, is going to be taking on William Prado in the Philippines. Now, we knew, or we should have known, that after his last fight, that Bob Burnham, Top Rank, decided that his next fight, basically a comeback fight, would be at 122 pounds, and most likely in the Philippines. Now, he can draw big over there. Nonito Donaire is a very big draw and a very big ratings, guys, because why? For one, if you think about it, despite the fact that he lost against Rigondeaux, despite the fact that he lost against Nicholas Walters, he fights the best that he can possibly fight in his division, you know, the ones that are available out there to him. So realistically, the man deserves a lot of respect. But let's stop for a minute and say that I'm T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. News, weigh-ins, press conferences, post-fights, interviews, etc., etc. RealCombatMedia.com is the link right below. This is the way I look at it. Where does Nonito Donaire belong? 122 pounds, where you got the guy he already lost to, Guillermo Rigondeaux, WBA Super World Champion, leading the division. You got Scott Quigg, WBA regular world champion. Him and Nonito Donaire would be a big fight, and that can happen, you know, without politics getting involved. You got the IBF champion, 122 pounds, called Frampton, who wants to take on Rigondeaux, who wants to take on Scott Quigg. He's fighting Chris Avalos, a mandatory guy, to get him out of the way. No, Chris Avalos is a mandatory for Rigondeaux. Chose not to fight Rigondeaux because it would be more money in fighting Carl Frampton. So he's fighting Carl Frampton. Now, when you look at what can Donaire do in the division and who can he beat at 122 pounds, well, in my personal opinion, he can beat maybe a Leo Santa Cruz. You know, Leo Santa Cruz is not Nicholas Walters and doesn't have the power, even though, you know, Leo Santa Cruz is going to pressure him. He can beat a Scott Quigg. Carl Frampton, I don't think so. So when you look at the division of 122 pounds and the fact that Rigondeaux is not going anywhere, will we possibly see maybe later on down the line a Rigondeaux versus Donaire too? And don't get it twisted. The 122-pound division is very fruitful, but at the same time, when you're a guy that's Donaire, you know, and you was dominating the division before you met Guillermo Rigondeaux, then you should have rights to get a title shot somewhere between those guys. You know, whether it's Scott Quigg, Leo Santa Cruz, even though that's thank you out Heyman, so you can kind of rule him out, or Carl Frampton. But it all depends. And from what I'm seeing, you know, and what we're seeing is promoters are not afraid to put him in there to mix it up with some bigger names. Looking at what he needs to do. Now, looking at his reign at the 122-pound division, Toshiaki Nishioka, Jeffrey Mathabula. I know I'm missing a couple more names. Victor Archinian 2. Or was that at 126? I don't remember. I believe that was at 126, Victor Archinian 2. But it seems as though his power was, you know, he was having trouble bringing his power up to 122 pounds from 118. Now, when you look at, you know, Vieca, when you look at the Jeffrey Mathabula fight, he just kept being right hand happy. Now, he did end up fracturing his jaw at the end of the fight, but still, I thought to myself, you know, after he lost to Rigondeaux, I'm like, my God, he's moving up to 126. Where's he going to go now? 130? 135? Because it just seems as though his power did not carry up. Like, for example, the Victor Archinian fight. I believe that the rematch was at 126 pounds. Then he fought Sipiwa Vieca. He was having trouble with that fight where he clearly needed the knockout. And then the next fight, if you notice, his eye got cut and he wasn't doing so well. And if the fight would have had to went to the cards, if he didn't decide that, if him and his team wasn't basically like, listen, we can't go on with that eye like that. And basically, I already know, and you should know, he used that as a way to get out. It seems that way, and perfectly, you know, and to be perfectly honest with you, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm talking about the way he got out, of the Sipiwa Vieca situation. So look at those two fights at 126. Even though he beat Darchinian, even though when it comes to, you know, technicalities, he beat Sipiwa Vieca, he had problems. And then I thought to myself, you're gonna go fight Nicholas Walters? Nicholas Walters at one point in time, if I'm correct, weighed in a fight at 138 pounds. So basically, I'm thinking like, you're fighting a welterweight, you know. So you have to give respect to that. But as far as, like I said, Rigondeaux leads the 122-pound division. Can Donaire defeat Rigondeaux in a rematch? That is, I just don't know yet. Can I give him a chance? Yes, I can give him a chance because he may not be this scared, and also he can win via a multiple knockdown situation, if you get where I'm going with that. But no matter what you say, it's going to be broadcast on, national Filipino television. So, of course, it's going to be like a crazy, highly rated fight. HBO is going to pick it up. Hopefully, it's going to be on March the 28th. And what I believe HBO may have, if I'm correct, on March 28th, HBO is going to have Lucas Matisse, Ruslan Provodnikov, the Nonito Donaire fight. And you got Kell Brook versus Jojo Dan. And you got a couple other fights. It's going to be a big day for boxing, just to make sure we understand that, like why you should be watching the Nonito Donaire fight is because basically, even though it may be a tape delay, still it's going to be mixed in with so much good boxing going on throughout the day. Even though well, anyway, I'm not going to keep talking. I'm T-Street Controversy on Twitter, T-Street Controversy on RealCombatMedia.com, T-Street Controversy on Facebook, T-Street Controversy on Instagram. Please subscribe.